Big Safe.
Fat Man Scoop, Brooklyn Clan. What's up, y'all? This is Fat Man Scoop. And right now, you watching the sensei, the number one, the king, my dude, Big Brando. He taught me, personally, me, Fat Man Scoop. All you gotta do is keep your mouth closed and your ears open. Listen to the man talk. That's knowledge personified right there. And I wouldn't trust nobody else but my dude, Big Brando. And I said it. Fat Man Scoop, Big Brando. Let's go.
What's happening, everybody? Boy Big Brando, and today let's talk about heat presses. Now, as most of you guys know or seen already, I posted a video about my Ricoma heat press. And this brought up a bunch of questions with a lot of people. What happened to the Heat Press Nation press? When'd you get that Ricoma press? Why is there a Hotronix press behind the Ricoma press? How come this is the first time I'm seeing any of these presses? Do you no longer use the Heat Press Nation press? Is the Ricoma better than any of your other presses? What's going on? And all of these questions very valid, but what you guys have to remember is I don't show everything that goes on in this shop. You guys see a very small piece of what goes on in this shop. But to answer some of these questions, I still have my Heat Press Nation Signature Pro. Hasn't gone anywhere. I still use it, but you have to remember I do a decent amount of volume in this shop. When I say a decent amount, I'm not doing high volume. I'm just doing a decent amount of volume. So I've always had two heat presses. YouTube has only seen one of the heat presses. Doesn't make sense for me to just keep showing you two different presses and what's going on in here. But just as an example, my Ricoma press, I haven't even had for a full year. And I've put over 10,000 t-shirts through it. My Heat Press Nation Signature Pro averages about 16 to 18,000 t-shirts a year. And like I said, it's not high volume, but it's a decent amount of volume. So having two presses just helps with production and workflow in this shop. Even when I was working out of my home spot, I still had two presses. Now, outside of that, I just want to give you a small little backstory on how I got this Ricoma press. If you go back a year, around this time, April, May timeframe, my Hotronix press, my 16x20, was giving me a lot of issues. I was getting uneven heating. I had to replace two parts, and it was becoming very, very unreliable. Unreliable means it slows down production. So, like I said, 2021, April, May timeframe. If you guys remember, the supply chain was starting to show that everything was messed up because there was a heat press shortage, just like shortages on everything, but heat presses were very hard to come by at that time. Everything was sold out, everything was on back order, everything was out of stock with no delivery dates. So the first thing I did was jumped on Heat Press Nation's site and try to order another Signature Pro or Signature Series. I've had both of those presses. I know they're workhorses, and that's what was going to replace my Hotronix press. I jump on there, everything's out of stock. One, very popular press. Two, supply chain is messed up. So it's hard for me to find one that's in stock. So I check the site all the time, it's out of stock. I need a press in this shop because it's slowing down production. So since I can't find a Heat Press Nation one, they're all sold out. I started looking at other companies. I tried 3 other companies that had a heat press with the same functions, that pull-out drawer, 15x15, around the same price range. A little bit cheaper, some a little bit more expensive, but within the ballpark. So now I'm checking Heat Press Nation's site, and then I'm checking these other 3 sites every single day. So the first time I see one in stock, boom, order. I'm taking a gamble ordering with one of these other companies because I've never used it. And I also didn't want to reach out to these companies and play the YouTube card and be like, hey, I got this YouTube channel. Can you guys send me a press? I didn't do none of that. I bought it with my own money. I paid for it like a regular paying customer. I didn't want that company to treat me any different. So I bought the press, tested it out, put it through its paces, and it just didn't hold up. A lot of them had heating issues. Some of them took a very long time to heat up. And then they also didn't hold the heat well. With my Heat Press Nation press, I'm used to putting 100, 150 t-shirts through it in one sitting with no heating issues. Around 150 t-shirts, I usually turn it off and take a break anyways. But these other presses that I tried out just didn't hold up. After like 15, 20 t-shirts, I started to notice that the heat started to go a little weird and it would dip down a lot. And I'm not just talking a few degrees, I'm talking like 20 to 25 degrees. So once again, that just slows up production for myself. So the first company that I bought a new heat press from, I ended up selling it within a week. I just resold it on OfferUp, got my money back from it. I did not try to oversell on it because I knew the market was crazy and try to make an extra buck off of it. I sold it for what I bought it for. The other 2 presses that I got, same issues. They just did not hold up. They had the slide out drawer function and all that good stuff. It just didn't hold up for workflow within this shop. So it didn't make sense for me to keep it because it's just basically slowing me down. So I resold them. The cool thing about reselling those 2 was the people that bought them And when we met up, watch my channel, which was cool. And I even shot him a little discount. Like I took a hit on it just to help those guys out, but the press was fully functional. It just didn't work within this shop. So around this same time, I'm talking to a lot of different embroidery companies. I'm trying to buy a single head embroidery machine at this point. And as most of you guys know, I went with Ricoma. So as I'm cruising Ricoma's site, I noticed they sell heat presses and they're in stock. 15 by 15, 16 by 20. Easy call, let's order one up, get it into the shop. The first 2 weeks that I had that press, I put hundreds of t-shirts through it. No issues whatsoever. Held up with the Heat Press Nation press, slide out drawer. There's only 2 differences between the presses. The Ricoma didn't come with like a base cover like the Heat Press Nation one does. If you guys look at my Heat Press Nation press, you know there's a little black cover over the base that covers that rubber pad. It didn't come with one of those. And the Ricoma has a full touchscreen on there. Heat Press Nation press has actual clickable buttons. The Ricoma press has a full touchscreen, the menu, everything. Functionality wise, they both hold up to the production that I do in here with no issues. Holds heat really good. For, like I said, 100, 150 t-shirts, no heating issues. Takes about the same amount of time to heat up and get to the cruising temperature, and has been very reliable for this workshop. Now, this is not a knock on Stahls or Hotronix heat presses, because I do think those are industry standard when it comes to heat presses. That's a name that everybody's familiar with. My experience with my Hotronix was a horrible one. And that's nothing against Stahls or Hotronix. Maybe I just got a bad press and it just didn't work out the way I needed to. But I can't honestly say that my Ricoma press replaced my Hotronix press. Does that mean Ricoma's better than Hotronix? No. For my own personal workflow, my Ricoma replaced the Hotronix. The reason why we keep the Hotronix in here is because it has like this removable bottom platen, and you can buy different ones, and we bought one that does the bottom of hats, and that's one of the biggest reasons why we kept it. Outside of that, probably would have been a boat anchor. Because like I said, one half of that thing heats up pretty good. The other half does not heat up so well. And on that hat platen, we only use the side that heats up really good. So now that you guys know why I have a Ricoma press and a Heat Press Nation press, that's basically it. Around the time I was looking for another heat press to replace the Stahls press, everything was sold out. I tried every single company that had one in stock. Didn't hold up for my own personal needs. Got lucky with the Ricoma press being in stock, and it's been in my shop ever since. Does that mean that every other company is a garbage company? No, it does not. I just need a press that is reliable and can hold up to the Heat Press Nation press. Because in this shop, the Heat Press Nation Signature Pro or Signature Series line is the standard. That's the end all be all press, because I've had these presses for years with no issues. So I know I get my money's worth out of these Heat Press Nation presses. So if I can't get a Heat Press Nation press when they're in stock, I need the next best thing, and I need a press to hold up with the Heat Press Nation press. So far, that's been the Ricoma. Easy call. Like I said, the only 2 differences, Ricoma doesn't have that base cover. I'm pretty sure you could probably buy one. And the actual menu and screen is all touchscreen. Those are the only 2 differences. Heating wise, they heat up. It takes about the same amount of time for them to heat up and get to the right temperature. And then they hold their heat. For 150 presses or 150 t-shirts through the press, it holds its heat. Can it do more than 150? Yeah, but usually around at 150 is when I take a break. So if you're looking for a press, or you're confused about why I was using different ones and which one you should get, you could consider both of those, the Ricoma and the Heat Press Nation. I've had very, very good hands-on experience with both of them, and they both work for me. Now I know there's gonna be a lot of people in the comments say, man, I got a Hotronix and it's the best thing and blah, blah, blah. I'm pretty sure it is. Like I said, that's an industry standard. That's a very well-known name within the heat press world. I had a personal bad experience with it. I'm not dogging them out. I'm not mad at the company. I'm mad at myself because I bought into it too. Back then when I bought that Hotronix press, I could have just bought another Signature Series press. But I was thinking like everybody else, like, oh man, you know what? Production's bumping up. Might as well just go for an upgraded machine, more expensive machine, one that's built for production. And then it failed my production. And I'm like, oh man, what a waste. But like I said, I could have just got a lemon. I could have got a bad press. So be it. Live and learn, right? So I'm cool with the presses I have now. Ricoma 15 by 15 and my Heat Press Nation Signature Pro 15 by 15. These presses do everything I need them to do, and they are the most reliable presses in this shop for myself, all right? Hopefully this answered questions for everybody, because I know everybody was concerned and confused about it. If you got any questions, Leave it in the comments. Follow me on Instagram, Big Brando TV. Follow me on TikTok. That's where I show these presses at a lot too, at Big Brando. Catch you guys on the next one, man. Yeah.